Iman Shumpert just took the biggest L of his career, and it didn't even happen on the basketball court. His ex-wife, Tiana Taylor, just walked out of their divorce stack with millions, while Iman's bank account is looking like it just got hit with a full court press. This wasn't just a breakup, it was a financial wipeout. From child support to spousal support to some seriously wild accusations. Iman didn't just lose his marriage, he might have lost his wallet too. So how did Tiana walk away winning while Iman's net worth took a nosedive? Let's get into it. Iman Shumpert's divorce from Tiana Taylor. So, the streets are saying Iman Shumpert might need to start looking at Groupon deals because his ex-wife, Tiana Taylor, is allegedly walking away from this divorce with a serious financial glow-up. Now, before we dive into the juicy details of how this went from black love goals to run me my money, let's rewind a bit. Back in September 2023, Tiana Taylor hit Instagram with one of those classic celebrity breakup announcements. You know, the kind that starts off with, "Hey guys, just letting you know," it ends with fans deep diving into every post, every comment, and every possible sign that this relationship had been cooked for a while. She made it very clear that their split had nothing to do with cheating. But here's the thing, when someone goes out of their way to say, this was not about infidelity, the internet immediately assumes it was absolutely about infidelity. Because why bring it up if it wasn't on your mind? But Tiana wasn't lying, at least not according to the court documents that came out later. Turns out she had already filed for divorce way back in January 2023, but kept it under wraps for almost a year. And when those papers hit the public, the details were messier than a group chat argument. Tiana claimed cruel treatment in the filing. And while she didn't go into specifics, we soon learned that things weren't as picture-perfect as they seem. Fast forward to July 1st, 2024, and boom, divorce was finalized in Fulton County, Georgia. And that's when the real fun started, because now we're talking money. See, when rich people get divorced, it's not just about emotional damage, it's about financial warfare. And let's just say, Iman Shumpert might be feeling the sting in his wallet for a long time. First off, there's the issue of child support. Iman reportedly wanted the court to set his payments at $8,000 a month based on his income of around $48,000 a month. Now, that might sound like a lot, but in celebrity terms, that's like trying to live off McDonald's coupons in Beverly Hills. Meanwhile, Tiana reported her own income as $94,000 a month, meaning she's out-earning him by almost double. Even with that, the court had ruled against his favor. And honestly, that was quite expected, not with the receipts of him moving crazy being all over the internet. The court ruled that Tiana Taylor would receive 4 of the houses they own together, all valued at over $10 million and a one-time 7-figure payout. According to many other reports, under the settlement, Taylor will also receive not only 4 properties, but also multiple cars, including a $300,000 Maybach, a $70,000 Mercedes-Benz Sprinter, and a tour bus. And this is all in addition to Iman paying the $8,000 a month in child support and his children's private school education. According to the reports, the court ruled that Taylor will also retain full ownership of her businesses, which include fitness brand Fade 2 Fit, a dance and choreography center, and her multiple partnerships with fashion companies. But this brings up the question of what must have made the court rule against Iman. Tiana accused Iman of pulling some straight-up bank heist moves, allegedly withdrawing a huge sum of money from their joint accounts and conveniently forgetting to pay her back for $200,000 worth of home renovations. Imagine logging into your account one day and seeing millions magically disappear. Tiana must have been sick. And let's not forget the house drama. According to her, Iman cut off the utilities at their home, which meant she and their kids were left without water or heat. So now we're talking about financial betrayal and lights-off struggle mode behavior. This went from celebrity divorce to Survivor Tiana Taylor edition. Real quick, now let's get into the career situation. Because if we're talking finances, we need to talk about who's bringing in the big checks. Iman Shumpert used to be an NBA player, right? Key word, used to be. He was never exactly LeBron levels of rich, but he had a respectable career with solid earnings. The problem? He's not in the league anymore. His NBA days are behind him. And while he did win Dancing with the Stars, which was honestly pretty impressive, that's not exactly a long-term financial plan. So far since leaving the NBA, he has dabbled in so much that calling him a jack of all trades would seem an understatement. Currently, he's hosting a new ESPN Plus series called Taking One for the Team, which is basically a podcast where he sits in front of a microphone and talks about everything sports. He has also appeared as an actor in TV shows, such as Them and The Cheat. He also dabbled in rap music, even releasing an album in 2018. He is also involved with a cannabis brand called TSA Approved. Man has done everything you could think of. Now let's compare that to Tiana. While Iman's career has been shrinking, Tiana has been out here securing multiple bags. She's a singer, actress, and director. She choreographs for major artists. She's in the fashion world. She's out here signing endorsement deals left and right. Basically, Tiana is thriving. And that means that with the spousal support Iman has been authorized to offer her, he just might be in for a reality check. Because let's be honest, once you're no longer an active NBA player, those millions don't stretch the same way. And considering Tiana's business empire is only growing, it's safe to say that her post-divorce life is looking a whole lot more comfortable than his. At this point, the only real question is, with the massive payout Tiana just got from this divorce running into multiple millions, how bad is it going to get for Iman financially? Because as this divorce settlement is looking like some of the other wild celebrity divorces we've seen, he might need to start budgeting real carefully. But before we get too deep into Iman's potential financial nightmares, let's take a step back. Because once upon a time, these two were the definition of black love goals. They had the fairy tale romance, the dream careers, and the kind of chemistry that made people believe in love. So how do we go from that to messy divorce filings and IG drama? Let's rewind the clock and break down the rise and fall of Iman and Tiana. The power couple, Iman and Tiana. Back in the mid-2010s, Tiana Taylor and Iman Shumpert were couple goals. You couldn't scroll through Instagram without seeing them all over each other, serving matching outfits and looking like they were straight out of a romance movie, but not the tragic kind. More like the feel-good, everything is perfect type. They had the looks, the money, the fame, and the energy of a couple that would last forever. Or at least that's what everyone thought. Their love story started back in 2014, when Tiana, fresh off her music grind, met Iman, an NBA player who was out here securing contracts and living his best life. And it wasn't one of those love at first sight stories either. According to Tiana, she and Iman started as best friends before things turned romantic. And honestly, that's probably what made them such a fan-favorite couple. They had chemistry that felt real. Then came the 2016 moment that made them officially iconic. You remember the Fade music video, right? The one where Tiana basically redefined what it meant to be snatched and left the entire internet picking their jaws off the floor. Yeah, that one. The video went viral overnight, and while Tiana's body was breaking the internet, people also noticed something else. The super sweet moment at the end, where she was dancing with Iman, that sealed the deal. Tiana and Iman weren't just any celebrity couple. They were the couple. Then they took it to another level with their own reality show. It was fun, cute, and gave fans a peek into their love life, showing them as this cool, playful, and madly in love duo. They were young, successful, and honestly, they made monogamy look fun. But as we now know, things weren't as picture perfect as they seemed. The first cracks in their marriage started showing when rumors about infidelity and an open relationship started swirling. Now here's the thing. Hollywood loves an open marriage narrative. The moment a couple is too happy, too close, or too different from the norm, people start whispering that they must have some kind of arrangement. And with Iman and Tiana, the rumors were everywhere. People claimed they had a situationship where other women were allegedly involved in their bedroom. Some even suggested they had an unspoken agreement where Tiana turned a blind eye to Iman stepping out. Even just when everybody heard that, like me, and my husband had 3 sons before, it was like, oh, she's willing to do that to keep a man. I'm like, nah, that was on me. She confirmed most of the rumors later on, stating that they only brought in other women on special days like their anniversary. I think that's a mix-up. You know what I'm saying? People here think that is like a thing where it's like every day we just taking it down. Like that's not that. It'd just be those times where like we just like if we on vacation, like our anniversary, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just many still believe she agreed to this as a way to keep her man and save her marriage, whichever way it failed. Now, let's talk about the iMommy situation because this one was messy. So back in 2023, the IG gossip page, The Neighborhood Talk, made a post accusing Iman of cheating with an influencer named iMommy. They made the post along with a video of iMommy wearing Iman's chain with his voice audible in the background. Of course, the internet went wild. People were digging through her old posts, analyzing her pictures, and basically trying to figure out if there was any sign of Iman in them to use as more proof of this alleged affair. iMommy tried to either salvage her reputation or to save their little secret, was busy scrambling all over the internet coming up with stories to cover up everything. Meanwhile, Iman's silent. No public denial, no aggressive tweets saying, y'all got me messed up. Nothing. And you already know what that means in the world of celebrity scandals. Silence is loud. But here's where it gets even messier, because just when people thought the cheating rumors couldn't get worse, Iman went ahead and did something very public and very dumb. So Tiana posted this picture on Instagram where she was posing with Drea Michelle, looking fine as ever. Normal, right? A little girl's knife, a little flexing for the gram, nothing to see here. Wrong. Because Iman saw that picture and immediately lost it. He went into full jealous X mode, commenting, "This is corny AF. This time you really tweaking. Arms, you bogus AF under the photo." And let's be real. You know, a man is hurt when he starts beefing in the comment section. Fans were confused like, sir, what exactly is wild about your ex-wife taking a picture with another woman? But then people started putting 2 and 2 together. Drea Michelle, she's got a reputation. And by that, I mean, she's been linked to a lot of athletes. So was Iman upset because he thought Tiana and Drea had a thing? Was he just bitter because Tiana was out here glowing? Nobody knows. But what we do know is that it was giving bitter ex energy. And the funniest part, Tiana returned his energy. She responded to his comments by saying, "You big man, big fella." She dropped that gem of a response and let him spiral in the comments while she went about her day, proving once again that nothing drives a man crazy than a woman who doesn't care. So at this point, the relationship is fully done. The cheating rumors are out. The cryptic comments are happening. And the reality of divorce drama is setting in. But here's the thing. This is just the beginning because Tiana wasn't done airing out Iman's worst behavior just yet. And when the court docs started dropping, it got even uglier with Tiana calling Iman a narcissist. Now, you know the word narcissist gets thrown around a lot. But when your own wife, the mother of your kids, the woman who held you down when your NBA career was in shambles, says it, that's not just shade. That's an accusation. Tiana made it very clear. Iman couldn't handle her success. When she was in her bag, booking movies, selling out tours, making waves in fashion, and just doing what successful women do, Iman wasn't clapping from the sidelines. He was sulking. She basically painted a picture of a man who needed to feel like the star of the relationship. And when she outshined him, it was a problem. Now, let's be real. This isn't new. We've seen this pattern before. A man meets a woman when she's young and grinding. He plays the supportive role. But the moment she levels up and starts making moves that don't revolve around him, suddenly he's miserable. And in Iman's case, Tiana said he was actively trying to sabotage her. There were rumors that he didn't like how much she worked, that he wanted her to be at home playing housewife while he figured out his next career move. And the craziest part, Tiana wasn't even out here neglecting her family. She was cooking, cleaning, being a hands-on mom, and still showing up for Iman. But for him, that wasn't enough. And let's talk about the biggest red flag in all of this. Iman allegedly being high while watching their kids, celebrities, athletes, and even your favorite rapper's grandmothers probably roll up from time to time. But when you're a father, responsible for 2 little kids, and your ex-wife is out here saying you were getting so high that it was dangerous, that's different. According to Tiana, Iman wasn't just casually hitting a joint before bed. He was out of it. So much so that she felt the need to include it in her legal filing. And if she's putting it in writing, you already know she's got stories. Now let's imagine this. Tiana's out working, handling her business, thinking she left her kids in responsible hands. And meanwhile, Iman is slumped on the couch, eyes low, moving in slow motion, forgetting what day it is. It's giving I thought I picked them up from school, but that was yesterday. And honestly, if your ex-wife has to mention your weed habits in a custody battle, you probably weren't just casually smoking. But wait, it gets worse. Because if you thought Iman was just being a jealous, emotionally unavailable, weed-loving baby daddy, think again. He also allegedly left Tiana and their kids in the cold, literally. Now, this is where it stops being a celebrity relationship drama and starts looking like an episode of Lifetime's Surviving My Narcissus Husband. Tiana came out and said Iman cut off the utilities of their house. Let me repeat that. A millionaire ex-NBA player allegedly left his wife and kids without heat, electricity, or water. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night, trying to make a bottle for your baby, and realizing the sink doesn't work. You go to turn on the heater because it's freezing, and boom, nothing. Meanwhile, Iman is probably somewhere vibing in an Airbnb with running water and heated floors. And before someone says, maybe it was a misunderstanding, let's be real, rich people don't just forget to pay their bills. This was an oops, I forgot to set up auto pay. Tiana fully believes he did this on purpose. And why? Because he wanted to punish her. And the worst part? He managed to avoid getting a DUI charge. Now pause. If you're managing to avoid a DUI charge, that means there was a DUI to avoid. Meaning, this man was allegedly under the influence while driving his wife's multi-$100,000 luxury vehicle. And let's not forget, this wasn't his first DUI-related incident. Iman has a history of questionable driving choices. So the fact that he was out here, allegedly driving recklessly again, is just wow. And let's be real, you can't just total a Rolls Royce and pretend like nothing happened. That's not a let's split the repair cost kind of situation. That's a sir, how do you plan on fixing this? And guess what? He didn't. Tiana was left with a mess. Just like she was left with the mess of their relationship, their finances, and their entire home. At this point, this isn't just a messy divorce. This is a full-blown financial and emotional crime scene. And trust me, the internet did not let Iman slide on this one. Social media ate this man up. And honestly, they weren't wrong. Tiana was out here winning, securing deals, and thriving. While Iman was out here crashing luxury cars and allegedly dodging financial responsibilities. And the funniest part? This man really went from happily married family man to divorce settlement cautionary tale in record time. People always say, you don't know what you have until it's gone. And Iman is the walking, talking, financially struggling example of that. But at the end of the day, let's be real. Tiana was never going to lose. Even with all the mess, she's coming out of this on top. She's got the talent, the business sense, the work ethic, and now the financial leverage to keep thriving without him. Meanwhile, Iman, well, let's just say his next career move better be solid because he might need it more than ever. And speaking of messy divorces and financial disasters, Iman and Tiana aren't the only ones. Let's take a look at some other celebrity breakups that rocked the internet and emptied some bank accounts along the way. Other celebrity divorces that rocked the internet. Blake Griffin didn't just take L's on the basketball court. He took one straight to his bank account when his child support payments came out, a whopping $258,000 a month. Let that sink in. $250,000 every single month. For comparison, that's more than what some NBA bench players make in an entire season. And no, this wasn't some random gossip blog pulling numbers out of thin air. Court documents confirmed it. And when people saw the figure, the internet went into a collective meltdown. To be fair, Blake and his ex, Bryn Cameron, have 2 kids together. And he does make tens of millions in career earnings, but $1,258,000 a month. That's nearly $3.1 million a year, basically paying for his ex's entire luxury lifestyle. Some fans joke that Bryn was making more from Blake than actual NBA free agents. And at this point, they weren't even wrong. And then, of course, we have the divorce saga that literally became a cultural event. Kanye West and Kim Kardashian's split wasn't just a breakup. It was a public spectacle, a war, and a social media mess all rolled into one. Kanye being Kanye didn't take the divorce quietly. He dragged Kim, her new boyfriend, Pete Davidson, and even his own divorce lawyer in one of the messiest celebrity breakups ever. This is gaslighting. Kim gets black people out of prison, You know who puts black people in prison? The person that the boyfriend has a tattoo of? Hillary. You understand the setup right here? You understand the narrative right here? The whole thing dragged on for months. But when the dust settled, the settlement had Kanye paying $200,000 a month in child support. Now, if you think Kanye is broke, think again. He may have lost his billionaire status after his fallout with Adidas, but he still had plenty left. However, $200,000 a month is no joke, even for someone who was once a billionaire. And let's not forget Kim literally walked away with her $60 million Hidden Hills mansion, while Kanye was couch surfing and ranting on Instagram. A true lesson in who really won in that relationship. But if Kanye's situation was bad, Tyrese's was downright hilarious. Unlike Blake and Kanye, who at least stayed relatively quiet, Tyrese made sure the entire world knew he wasn't happy about his child support payments. When the court ruled that he had to pay up to $40,000 a month in child support, Tyrese didn't just sign the check and move on. Oh no, this man cried while talking to the press after the court hearing. And when I say cried, I mean full-blown tears sobbing now. $40,000 a month is still a lot of money for the average person. But Tyrese was out here acting like he was being robbed at gunpoint. The internet never let him live it down. And to this day, the clip of him crying is still a meme. Moral of the story, if you're a celebrity, just pay the money and shut up. Because if you start crying, the internet will roast you for eternity. And speaking of rich people's problems, let's talk about Dr. Dre, the man who practically invented rap mogul status. With a net worth once sitting near $800 million, you'd think he could handle a divorce settlement. But when his ex-wife, Nicole Young, came for him, she wasn't just asking for a check. She wanted half his entire fortune. Yes, she was coming for the entire dynasty. Nicole originally asked for $2 million a month in spousal support, claiming she needed it for living expenses. Living expenses at $2 million a month? For that kind of money, her pillows should be stuffed with gold bars, and she should be drinking diamond-infused Fiji water straight from the fountain of youth. Luckily for Dre, they reached a settlement, and instead of losing half, he only had to pay $100 million. Still painful, but definitely not as bad as it could have been. And honestly, Dre dodged the bullet. If things went differently, Nicole could have been walking away with $400. Million in beats by Dre would have been beats by Nicole. Then there's Kevin Garnett, another NBA star who learned that divorce court does not play around. KG had to pay $100,000 a month to his ex-wife, Brandy Padilla, after their divorce. And once again, people were shocked at how expensive it is to be a rich ex-husband. Now, $100,000 a month is not Blake Griffin's $258,000, but it's still a cool $1.2 million a year. The funniest part, KG actually tried to fight it. He went to court arguing that he was retired, that he wasn't making the same kind of NBA money anymore, and that the payment should be adjusted to judge. Not impressed. The ruling stayed, and KG just had to take the L and pay up. At this point, it's like the NBA stands for never broke again, except for when it comes to divorce settlements. And that brings us to the real lesson here. If you're a rich celebrity, getting married might as well come with a warning label. Because whether you're a basketball player, rapper, or actor, divorce settlements are the real-life horror stories of the rich and famous. Iman Shumpert might be feeling broke right now, but trust me, he's not alone. From Blake Griffin's insane child support checks to Dr. Dre handing over $100 million, the message is loud and clear. Marriage is expensive. But divorce? Even worse. So unless you're ready to sign a bulletproof prenup, maybe think twice before saying I do. Because in Hollywood, it started to sound more like I did, and now I'm broke. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.